Hi, welcome everyone. We're here with Morning Flow featuring Kathy Cormier, who will be with us momentarily. My name is Mark Cormier. Thank you for practicing with us. Uh, we'll probably do 3 sun salves today, 2 A's and 1B. If you're watching this on recording, feeling free to stop the recording and throw in extra sun salves if you'd like. Anyway, let's get going. Welcome, Kathy.
Good morning, Mark.
How are you
How are
feeling
you
this
doing?
morning?
Feeling wonderful, thank you.
Excellent. Well, you certainly look wonderful, as always.
Thank you. As do you.
Um, anything you'd like to work on today?
Flowing like water.
Flowing like water. We have it. All right. Let's start with our hands on our hips, feet nice and wide. Rocking it from side to side. Maybe lift those feet up a little bit. And then starting to diminish the rock. And now grounded through both feet as we sway from side to side. Coming back to center, hands can stay on the hips here just so we feel nice and rooted. As we rock it from heel to toe, toe to heel, so front to back. Yeah, if you want to lift the heel, lift the toe a little bit, go for it without falling over, of course. And then starting to diminish that movement as we rock it towards center. So feeling free to keep the feet wide for the purposes of this room. I'll invite you to narrow your stance now. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Notice how that starts to fire up the center. Let's work with our wrists a little bit here. So let's find a clasp of the fingers in front and just circling our wrists. And then taking those wrist circles the other way. Now switching the clasp of the fingers, we'll walk them on over. We'll keep the forearms connected here as we circle those wrists. We do a lot of push-ups and down dogs, so we make sure our wrists are ready for that. And then take those circles the other way. Now moving towards my new favorite wrist exercise, which I got from the library pamphlet you provided me, making two fists
City
with
and County
the
of San
hands.
Francisco.
There you go. So I find the best way to do this is think about your thumbs as the drivers here as we trace figure eights with both fists. And we'll take those figure eights the other way. And again, think of the thumbs as the drivers here. Otherwise it gets confusing. And then releasing the fists, hands by your side. Sun salutation A, number 1. Inhaling arms up and over the head with the breath. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length as we arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold and grounding on down. In this first one, I'm not going to cue vinyasa, and I'll ask you to go sideways for the camera. As we hold this first down dog, I'll invite you to walk the dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other. And feel free to absolutely go all the way down to the heel. You get a much better stretch. Yeah, nice. Seeing how your body feels this morning, what feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. Relaxed neck, heavy head. Might rock those shoulders a little bit. And then from this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. On the tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length in your ride. Hands can cap the knees, arcing the back. Yeah, there it is. On the exhale, folding again as you round the spine. Hands can catch the back of the shins at the ankles. On the inhale, hinging at the hips, leading the back of the heart, moving towards a neutral spine as you hinge on up, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then exhaling, hands by your side. Second one, much like the first, this time I'll cue vinyasa. Inhaling arms up and over the head with the breath. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. Yeah, feel the arc. You really want to dip the back of the heart here. Yeah. Now finding the arch as you catch the back of the shins, tucking tail and shin. Really feel that tuck of the tail. And then grounding down through the hands as you find yoga push-up, chaturanga, take your time. Elbow shave the ribs, yoga style. Either coming all the way down and finding a cobra, or maybe you start with a cobra and then find your up dog as you lift those hips up. And then rolling over the toes as you make your way back to down dog. As we hold down dog, let's find our Ujjayi breath, a slight constriction of the base of the throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. If you chose to add movement to your down dog, moving back towards stillness, long, smooth breath in, long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, and then looking between the hands as you step. Or take a jump front. Beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length when you're out. Again, really feel the arc. Yeah, let that melt there. But up here. On the exhale, finding your round. Nice. On the inhale, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart, moving towards a flat back. Arms out to the side and then overhead. And then either arms through the heart or arms by your side, your choice. Sun Sal B, flow style. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged to support a back bend at the top, so nice. And then on the exhale, a big swan dive over, following your breath. Yeah, take your time. Take a breath to find length as your arc. Really feel the arc there. Yeah, there it is. Can you tell the difference? Mm-hmm. On the exhale, finding a round as you ground down, and either cycling through vinyasa or stretching back to your down dog, your choice. Take your time, find your flow. From down dog flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes for a nice Achilles tendon and calf stretch. And then looking between the hands as you bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Either working a flat back or maybe adding a little bit of a back bend. And then on the exhale, back to your low lunge as you spin the back heel up and then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. And I just noticed that watch, Kathy. Where'd you get that?
I think you found it.
Oh, does it work?
Mm-hmm.
Looks very elegant.
It does. I have a hack though. I have to fix it. The strap broke, so I stapled it.
Oh gosh.
So it definitely needs a little. The strap needs a little work. So I need a new strap, but it's a fine working watch.
Excellent. Second side here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes for that Achilles tendon calf stretch. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. And again, either flat back or maybe having a little bit of a back bend. And then on the exhale, back to down dog as you find your low lunge, spinning that back heel up. And again, take your time, follow your breath, find your flow. Awesome. Beautiful shoulders. So as we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of strength in the hands. Different ways to cue this, but I'll cue grounding down through the pads of the fingers, but drawing the center of the palm up towards the shoulders. When we work the hands that hard, we give our wrists some assistance, and our wrists appreciate that. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Awesome. Take a breath to find length. Feel the arc. There it is. On the exhale, finding the round. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower, more strength in our legs. On the inhale, rising on up. Maybe a little back bend at the top. Awesome. And then on the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Facing the camera, thank you, Kathy. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. A slight tuck of the chin, relax shoulders. Coming back to that internal focus, watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows lifting the chin tall through the ground, hands by our side. Either stepping or jumping the feet hip width apart, hands can find the hips. Working with our fire breath. Short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. Knees are soft here as we inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, passing hands through center. And then second side. And we'll do 8. Let me give those wrists a little flick. We're halfway done. Last 2 each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it back. An extended standing pose sequence, starting with our chair. Thank you for going sideways. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, find that arc. Yeah, there it is. On the exhale, finding the round as you tuck tail and chin. Really feel the tuck of the tail. It's hard to see. And then back to down dog, as you will. Take your time. Nice push-ups. Finding your back bend starts with a cobra and then an up dog. And then rolling over the toes as you find your down dog. Adding a hip opener to our 3-legged dog. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. Keeping the right shoulder just as it is, maximizing the twist of the torso as we stack the hips, lifted leg straight. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip, keeping that shoulder down, nice. And then looking between the hands as you bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our Warrior One. In Warrior One, let's bring hands back to the hips as we lengthen our stance, if appropriate. If you're already at your max, you're going to stay right there. Steering our hips forward, back hip front, front hip back. So right foot front, left foot back. You can face either side. So you're steering your hips front. Now 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. And we try to touch the front of our wrist as we stretch out the back of our wrists. Yeah, and then you start to do those little wrist circles. Getting back into our wrists. Taking those circles the other way. Now let's let our bird beaks be the drivers as we trace figure 8s. And then take those figure 8s the other way. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders to relax our shoulders. And we're going to square our heart front. Again, we're twisting to the torso here. There you go. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the back of the head. Pressing the head into the hands. Open heart and throat chakra, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that sense of space across the front of the heart and the base of the throat as we stretch those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, straightening the front leg without locking the knee as we gather up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms 6 times, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We got 3 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Whoops. I'm gathering up a little too much energy.
No, I think what it is I was here and I kind of just went all the way front without putting my body forward. So
okay, so we're
precarious.
gonna find Warrior One with cactus arms for the sake of our audience here. You're gonna ripple those fingers, elbows move back, the wrists come with, just come and stretch. Nice. From here, let's bring hands back to the hips. We're gonna turn Warrior One hips into Warrior Two hips as you open up the hips to face the side and narrow the stance. Classically, Warrior One's heel to heel alignment, Warrior Two is heel to arch alignment. If you want to work it a little wider, no worries. And then looking out over those front fingers with that drishti, that eye focus, a steady and relaxed gaze. Nice. From here, let's paint rainbows. Breathing in, straightening front leg without locking knee. Exhaling back to Warrior Two 6 times. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last one coming up here, breathing in and holding, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib on the obvious line, which is that front line, but also feeling a sense of lift on the back line, both sideways, lift up and out of the pelvis. And you might look up past that hand if your balance is good. And then from the reverse warrior back to warrior two. From here, finding a rainbow warrior. Clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down initially, open heart, open throat. And depending on where your balance is, either staying right there or taking a forward fold inside the front leg. You could always use that front thigh as a parking lot for the torso, or letting the torso hang free. And then I'll invite you to let those shoulders relax and melt down towards the floor. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, whatever feels right and good. Inviting any tension in the neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. Stretching out the back of the neck as we tuck the chin strongly to bring it on up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior two. Transitioning to our triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip. And now base of rib. We're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Behind a little teacup transition. And then grounding that bottom hand down. I'll grab it for you. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
And we're going to bring them outside the calf here. And there's a little bit of a physical connection here. Opening up top shoulder. Stretching hand high. I'll invite you to envision a plane of glass behind you. You're leaning into the glass, but you're not going to break that glass. That's beautiful. As we hold the shape, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. As you breathe out from your center, sending energy out through both legs, both arms, both ends of the spine. As you make yourself bigger in space from the inside out. Working that lateral top line as we exhale that top hand front, turning heart to the floor. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky 6 times. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Exhale. And inhale. Last 1. Exhale and hold as we reach, reach, reach. Back leg long, back leg strong, long through the torso, long through the arm, long through the fingers. Just feeling lots of space. Again, the obvious line is that top lateral line, but also feeling a sense of lift on the bottom lateral line. From here, the bottom hand joins, push-ups for our side waist. As if we're holding a big ball, we inhale it up. And then exhale it over. So flow like water here. Yeah, how would water do this? Inhale it up. Exhale, all parts of the body move, even if it's just a little bit. Even the fingers, the breath. We do 6 of these. Here's 3. And then over. Here's 4, breathing in. And breathing out. Last 2 here. Inhale. Exhale it over. Last one. Inhale it up. And then exhale it over. And then we're going to hold that shape a few breaths. Again, strong, strong, strong in your center. And then from here, top hand finds the hip. Top hand finds the hip, yeah.
Oh.
Here, yeah. And then you're going to set your base for your half moon. So feel free to bring the brick along. It's all good. And I like to think of a big box here. This is one corner of the foot. The brick is the other corner. There's 2 invisible corners, but the wider that box is, the easier it's going to be to balance. Having said that, you don't want to be so wide that the energy gets splayed out away from the center. And then opening, yeah, you want to use that hand to open up the shoulder. If you have it there, yeah, just a little reminder. And then stretching hand high. And again, breathing into your center of balance. Chinese medicine, they call it the Dantian. And then from that place, sending energy out from your center to the periphery of the universe. These walls are just illusions. Coming down with grace and control, I'll invite you to land a long stance. Backhand finds the hip, get that foot back. Shifting the weight into the feet as you find your warrior 2. And then from warrior 2, a big windmill of the arms as you find your low lunge. Take your time. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling to vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. By the way, I love the red theme, Kathy.
I thought you would.
thank you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the 60s here with the tippy pants.
Those are from my
And this is,
sister.
and I think in India they tend to use a much looser pant than they do here in the States, which is
They're
interesting.
comfortable.
It's hot there too. So we have a second side to do. But before we get there, I'm going to ask you to find a plank pose, and let's hold that. And this is an awesome exercise for the core. It's an isometric engagement. We're not moving any parts here, so in terms of wear and tear, we're minimizing that. But it's plenty hard as we hold the plank, feeling that connection between your head, your hips, and your heels. Without locking the knee, a nice openness in the back of the knee. You might imagine your calves are balloons and they're lifting up to the sky. As we hold the shape, putting the mind in the quality of your breath, finding that ujjayi breath, even inhales in, even exhales out. And that's the samarvriti, the same breath. Every aspect, length, duration, intensity, location. And then from the plank pose, I'll invite you to take it back to down dog, and we'll do our second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're working that hip open. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is. We want to maximize the twist of the torso here. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. In our warrior one, I'll have you bring hands back to the hips. And at this point, making a choice. If you're feeling plenty long in your stance, you'll stay right there. Otherwise, shifting weight onto the front foot and going a little longer. I tend to go short. So that's just me. With our hands on our hips, we can steer the back hip front, front hip back. They're not going to get there, but we want to feel that energetic action. Now 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. We'll stretch out our wrists as we try to touch the front of our wrists, and then circling, say 3 or 4 times one way. Let it be loose, let it be liquid like water, and then taking them the other way. Now coming back center, the bird beaks are going to be the drivers here as we trace figure eights. And then taking those figure eights the other way. In both hands at once is harder than you might think. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring the heart front. Nice. Now switching the clasp of the fingers as we press the head into the hands. Yeah. Find that openness in heart and throat chakra. Nice and open here, nice and open here, and then keeping that openness as we stretch those hands high. From here, adding breath and movement, straightening the front leg without locking the knee as we gather up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms with the breath, breathing in and breathing out, letting it flow. Kathy's doing a wonderful job here, breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. Then you're going to hold that shape. The elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers. And this is a great go-to stretch. You don't have to be in warrior one legs to do this stretch. You can do it at your desk, you can do it at the bus stop, you can do it wherever you are. From here, hands are going to come back to the hips, and we're going to turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips as we open up those hips to face the side. And you might narrow the stance. So classically, it's heel to arch alignment. I like to have a little angle in the back foot. Kathy's hips are a little more open than mine, so she works more of a parallel back foot.
My feet feel open.
Make sure you feel good, and then you're going to find that one long arm, and then setting your drishti, your eye focus, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. You might even add a little drishti to those fingers, almost like you're about to cast a magic spell. Ooh. There you go. All right, we get a little too silly sometimes. Painting rainbows. Always a silly thing that's super fun. Breathing in, breathing out, warrior two. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing Breathing out, we're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out, last two. Breathing in. Breathing out, last one. We're gonna hold that rainbow warrior, both sideways, lifting up and out of the pelvis as you reach up higher, reach down further. Breathing into the space between each rib. Working an internal massage from the inside with your breath. Turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two. Now switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down initially. Open heart, open throat. And then leading with the heart if you choose that forward fold. Either parking the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free. And then once you're in your forward fold and you're confident about your balance, you can let those shoulders just melt down towards the floor. Adding a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in the neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. The earth turns it into pure energy. And you draw that energy back up through the feet, through the legs, into the hips. And from that foundation, folding a little deeper. Stretching out our neck with a strong tuck of the chin, bringing it on up. Coming back to our warrior two. Transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. Take your time, I'm gonna grab your bricks. So you can use the shin. Shin is good. Bricks, I like if you have them, just because it makes it a little more comfortable in the shape. You don't have to focus on the balance so much. Having said that, focusing on the balance can be a good thing. Opening up that shoulder and then stretching hand high to the sky. And I like to have that brick right against the calf because that helps with the next cue. Envisioning there's a big glass wall behind you. You want to lean into the glass without breaking the glass. Nice. From here, working with upper back and lateral top line, as we exhale that hand front, turning our heart to the floor, a little quarter twist to the torso. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky 6 times. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Exhale. And inhale. Last one. Exhale and hold. Back leg long, back leg strong, long through the torso. The arm, the fingers. You might ripple those fingers. Now push-ups for our side waist. We're take that quarter twist out of the torso, arms frame the ears as bottom hand lifts up as if you're holding a large glass ball. You should feel it right here as we inhale it up and exhale it over. Inhale it up, flowing like water. Exhale it over, breathing it up. Exhale it over. We've got 3 more to go here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. 1 more to go. Breathing in. And breathing out. And we're going to hold this shape again from the strength of the back leg, finding more extension through the torso, the arm, the fingers. It's not easy, I know. And now moving towards the half moon balance challenge. Top hand finds the hip as we set our base with the other hand. Yeah, so we're moving towards half moon. And again, a wider base is going to be more solid and stable. That looks like a good thing, but look what happens if you go a little too wide. You kind of fall off to the side. What happens if you go a little too narrow? Yeah, it's hard. So as you get more practice and you start to develop more consciousness, more awareness in the center and in terms of your balance, you might challenge yourself with the smaller box, but you might as well start wide. And then you can always get narrower. Opening up the shoulders, stretching hand high. Awesome. Very, very nice. Look at that. It looks so good in the camera too. You're floating through space as the sun comes up here in San Francisco.
I just realized for the pose, I probably should have 1 more block so people can see what it's like for me to really be straight in front.
I think 1 block right now, you look geometrically, look really good. How does it feel inside the shape?
It feels good. It's really interesting to notice my different body, just the differences in my limbs. in terms of stretching. It's like
Okay.
an interesting thing to think my legs are very short and my arms are very long.
In terms of how you look from the outside right now, I wouldn't know what to correct if I were to try to do a
Oh,
correction.
that's interesting.
Yeah, you look really good.
Cool.
And you can either look down, off to the side, or up to the sky. And that up to the sky one's always harder to say than it is to do.
That is hard.
So I'm gonna ask you to land a long stance, hand finds the hip, back foot comes down, and then finding your warrior two. And then a big windmill of the arms as you find your low lunge. Take your time. Spinning that back heel up. And then back to down dog. As you will. Deep full breaths. So let's see. Let's stick with right and left here, and let's do one more tiger breath. I think we got our fire breath. Sorry. So bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little higher, looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. So you want to arc the back. So yeah, feel that. This comes up and then this steps down. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. And now rounding the spine as we fold. Yeah, tucking tail and chin. I can't really see the tuck of the tail, but you should feel it. Then from here, I think we come back up to our chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Yes, we'll go a little bit lower. Rising on up. You can engage the glutes to support the back bend at the top. And then on the exhale, neutral spine back of the head in line with the sacrum, hands by your side. Facing the camera, I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement as you press the palms together, elbows wide, tuck of the tail, tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin, tall through the crown. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. Working with that fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose as we inhale, arms out to each side. On the exhale, passing hands through center, crossing the wrists, giving those wrists a flick, and then switching across. And we'll do 8. We're halfway done. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping it or jumping it. Back in. From here, finding your chair. Knees over toes, hands overhead.
Knees over toes, sorry.
Knees over toes. I said it right, didn't I?
Yeah, no, I was watching you and I don't.
I was just standing there. I'm talking. I'm trying to like work with my verbal people. Taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Yeah, thank you for going sideways. Inhaling, finding that arc to the back. So work up high and feel that arc. Finding your round as you fold. You can catch the back of the shins, tucking tail and chin. And then grounding on down, making your way back to down dog, as you will. Deep full breaths. Awesome. So we'll stick, should we do a paradiddle or should we stay with right first and then left? Let's do the paradiddle. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes. Keeping left shoulder just as it is, twisting from the torso, lifted leg straight. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And now we're moving towards swan. So you're going to bring that left knee to left wrist, keeping the knee joint closed. You're going to ground that back knee as you walk that right foot back. Unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape. Finding the tips of 10 fingers, shoulder blades back and down. And then leading with the heart, arms in extension as you find a forward fold. And take your time on this, really feeling the tractioning of your spine. Feel like from that solid and steady pelvis, one leg's in internal rotation, the other's in external rotation, and that kind of sets the pelvis. Feeling lengthening through both sideways, lengthening through the spine as you fold. At a certain point, you won't be able to go any further, letting the forehead rest onto the mat, and also just arms in extension, but you might let the shoulders relax. letting gravity take over here. Feeling free to add little micro movements as you get yourself comfortable. But then at a certain point, just letting it go super, super heavy. Almost like your body's filled with sand. And that sand is heavy on the earth. The exhale breaths are particularly effective to encourage that heaviness. With every exhale, just letting it go. All about the meat body here. Now we'll start to engage breath body again, starting to fill our body with energy, with lightness. As we start to walk the hands in, so finding the tips of 10 fingers. Again, setting those shoulder blades back and down. And then a strong, strong core engagement. The pelvic base is going to draw up towards the diaphragm. Diaphragm is going to lift up towards the heart, so perineum to navel, navel to heart. And then from that center, you're going to float the arms out to the side and then overhead. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to find those bird beaks. And depending on where you are, either making circles or tracing those figure eights. And I don't want to hold you here for too long, so at a certain point, grounding back down through the hands. I'll suggest the flats of the palms eventually. And then keeping the knee joint closed as you come back to a three-legged dog. And then keeping the knee joint closed and then very carefully opening up that knee. And give it a very liquid shake, not too vigorous, just inviting more circulation back into the joint. One of the reasons I believe yoga works for our joints is that we compress the joint and then we open it up. So we encourage blood flow. The yoga word is prana. A word I love these days is vitality, life force. Just keeping the flow going. And then finding your finding your down dog, and either hanging out, maybe walking the dog, or if you want to generate a little more tapas or heat, we can cycle through vinyasa. Up to you. All right. So Kathy's shifting around. You at home stay just as you are. She has to be open for the camera. And let's sneak in another extended plank pose here. It's just such a good pose. You can even do this in your office if you have a little bit of floor space. It makes no noise, but it's plenty hard. You try to do one for 12 breaths every morning. And the challenge for me is not to hurry that breath because it's hard.
Recommend bringing a towel or a mat if you have a weird carpet.
Oh, at your office?
Yes.
Yeah. Carpets are interesting. If it's clean, a carpet can be very nice, but most carpets are not cleaned enough. So
I think it's more that that image of the mat. You know what I mean? It's like your protected space, and so
sure.
it ends up being like. In addition to the fact that yes, many carpets are old and
having
full of
said
synthetics.
people get very beholden to the mat, and we can have this conversation as you hold the plank.
Yeah.
But I feel sometimes it's very freeing not to practice.
Absolutely. Practice wherever you are. That's why I said a towel or just something.
I think in the old days before mats, they used blankets and stuff.
Yeah, whatever it is. But carpet is fine in a pinch. I don't want to make people feel like they can't use their carpet because you should be able to feel like you can flow wherever you are.
Right. Subway platform, maybe not so much.
You still, yeah, protect yourself.
And then navel to spine as you lift the hips high. And that's actually another vinyasa there, that holding that plank. You don't always have to do the push-up. There's plenty of core strengthening that happens in a plank pose. We'll move towards our swan sequence, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. We did the paradiddle, that's right. Right leg high to the sky. Keeping that right shoulder grounded. We want to maximize the twist of the torso, lifted leg straight. Now bending the leg, opening up that hip, keeping that shoulder down. That's a challenge. And then keeping the knee joint closed, we're going to bring that knee towards the wrist. Be super mindful, no need to rush here. Settling the hips as we walk the other foot back. Unfurling the foot, pressing the tops of the toes down, stretching out our ankle. Also a little more of a stable shape than a tuck toe formation. Finding the tips of 10 fingers. Set those shoulder blades back and down. Nice. And then keeping that sense of space, walking the hands forward, taking your time. You're purposely moving slow here as you stretch out your back, lengthening through both sideways. And we always don't, most of the time, we don't find the optimal alignment right off the bat. So feeling free to do a little wiggle, a little waggle, just making sure you're comfortable, particularly in this shape. It's not with the big bent knee and the foot under the pelvis. It's not necessarily a super comfortable place. So try to get as comfortable as you can. And the cue this morning is once you get to that place of comfort, now letting everything go, becoming, I'm going to say sand, but I think Bruce Lee says like water. So sand and water, similar things. They tend to pool out, they tend to settle. So finding that liquid quality to your stillness. So water doesn't always flow. Sometimes it's just very still, very heavy. And in certain yoga philosophies, there's different bodies. The meat body is the obvious body. It's the material body. And the next body after that, your breath body, your energy body. So really focusing on meat body, on heavy body. And then starting to invite the breath body in. Starting to feel a certain lightness in your limbs as you walk those fingers on back. Take your time. Again, finding the tips of 10 fingers, shoulder blades back and down. There's different diaphragms in the body. There's the pelvic diaphragm, there's your breath diaphragm, there's the heart diaphragm. Anyway, you want to draw everything up from your pelvic base as you float those hands high. And then once you have the formation, just adding the bird beaks. All right. And then we're going to ground down through the palms. We're going to find our three-legged dog as we tuck the toes, keeping the knee joint closed as we lift that leg high. And then very carefully, really slowly opening up the back of the leg. And then grounding on down, finding your down dog shape. And as we hold the down dog shape, walking the dog is always a great option. Some of you heart chargers might cycle through vinyasa. And again, vinyasa is just connected movement through space. It could be the push-up into the back bend. It could be holding a plank for a few breaths. You might work an assisted push-up as you ground down through the knees. You might sneak in a child's pose. And that's the beauty of the flow practice, is that there's a certain, there's a lot of agency. Whenever I say vinyasa, it's kind of like the word in breakdancing, I think. When you free form, you just do what feels right and good for you. And then wherever you are, I'll invite you to find that child's pose as you settle the knees on down. In the child's pose, keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to find a side bend as you walk your hands to one side. And take your time. Find little yoga bells there. Stretching far hip to far heel. I love this stretch. Now walking the hands through center, finding that second side. That's it. Stretching other hip to other heel. Nice. And then coming back center. Let's walk the hands on in as we bring our feet off to one side. And let's find two long legs in front. And let's find the top of our mat. And we'll do some roll downs and roll ups, connecting with our center. You know, cute tall spine. It's a Pilates term. It's called neutral spine in yoga. As we have back of the head in line with the sacrum, Frankenstein arms. From here, we'll find C-spine as we tuck tail and chin, and we'll slowly roll it down. Nice, and I love how slow you're going. When you get down, arms by the ears, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. If they go too low, the ribs start to harden and poke out. Low back's going to lift. From here, flexing hands and feet, lifting the head to tuck the chin, pressing the back into the mat to recruit the core as you roll yourself up. Nice. You can always grab the back of the thighs. Take a breath to find tall spine, neutral spine. The arms can be more Frankenstein arms. That way the shoulders get more relaxed, or cactus arms. From here, puffing out back heart, you're going to tuck tail and chin as we stretch it out. You're not going to roll down yet. Now you're going to come back to tall spine. Arms stay like, you don't have to come up so high. Yeah, keep them low, keep the shoulders relaxed. Now you're going to find C-spine again as you roll yourself down. So I know some teachers teach it a little bit differently. I like to work the machinations of the spine here. Inhaling, full body stretch, arms by the ears, low back lifts. On the exhale, flexing hands and feet, lifting the head to tuck the chin, imprinting the spine into the mat, rolling yourself up, nice. Take a breath to sit tall, so the arms don't have to go overhead, they can stay in front. Finding C-spine as you tuck tail and shin. Inhaling back to tall spine, exhaling C-spine as you roll yourself down. And the lower you go, the slower you go. Let's do one more. Inhaling, finding your neutral spine. Low back's going to lift here. On the exhale, you're going to press the back into the mat, flexing hands and feet, lifting the head to tuck the chin, coming on up. Awesome. Inhale, sit tall, tall through the crown, neutral spine. C-spine as we puff it out, stretching out back hard. Inhale, tall spine again. And then on the exhale, C-spine as you roll yourself down. Inhaling, long on the floor, low back lifts. And then we're going to bring our hands by our hips. No, we're going to stay down here. You're going to bring hands by hips, pressing the back into the mat to recruit the core as you walk one foot in, and then the other. From here, I'll invite you to find constructive rest position. As you go wide with the feet, let the knees knock in. Palm on the belly, palm on top as you find your belly breath. As you breathe into your hands, the hands rise and fall as you breathe. Putting your mind in the warmth of your belly, letting it penetrate out through the back of the hands. Putting your mind in the warmth of your hands, letting that warmth penetrate through to the very center of yourself, your Dang Tian. And from this place, slowly and carefully moving towards your Shavasana as you lengthen through the legs, arms out to the side, scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders, doing whatever else feels right and good for you, giving all parts of your body lots of permission to breathe. And we won't be here too long. Initially focusing on your breath, but as we hold the shape, even letting that focus soften, as we bring our senses inside, finding our pratyahara. And that's the fifth limb of the fifth spoke, the 8 spokes that make up the yoga wheel of the classic Raja Yoga, the king's yoga, the queen's yoga, the royal yoga. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. From this place of just watching your breath, moving away from same breath, Samarvriti, as you find a long, slow inhalation, followed by a longer, slower exhalation. Long, smooth breaths in. Longer, smoother out breaths out. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more prana, more vitality into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Now pressing the back into the mat to engage the core as you draw one knee into the heart, the other follows. Hands catch the shins. And using your thighs to massage your low belly, your Dang Tian, as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. From here, stretching long through an arm. I'll suggest right arm as you roll onto your side, being super, super heavy on the floor, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head. I'll invite you to let your next out breath sigh out through the mouth as you soften your shoulders, relax your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then keeping the neck relaxed, the face soft, as you press into your hands to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. Take your time, there's no rush. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with the hands to settle the shoulders as we sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as 5 fingers of one hand find the ground. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, hands find the heart, and we can bow, thanking ourselves for practicing yoga and offering our practices out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you, and in this light we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you out there in
Thank you,
Facebook
everyone.
Live land for practicing with us. And I love how namaste sounds like have a nice day. We'll see you soon.
Have a nice day, everyone. Bye. Thank you.